Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news. Big hairy news.
Hey, kia ora koutou te whānau. Welcome back to another edition of Big Hairy News. Little hairy Chewie is on his way. Not quite sure where Chewie is, but he will be with us momentarily. And how are you all doing? You having a good time? Good time had by one and all? Lovely to see you all again, especially you up there in the back row. I can see you. I can see you looking in, trying to hide behind that person in front of you. We're all here together. Big old night tonight, bit of a chill night for some of this evening, because we won't talk about, I have sent the link, Stu. I sent it at like 4 o'clock. Some of you may have heard that we had a bit of a fun old day at the New Zealand Podcast Awards. And tonight I have sent out the link, which is why I know I've sent Chewie. Chewie's out celebrating Kiwi Bear. I've sent the link to all of the hosts to see if anyone wants to jump on around 9:30ish to come and say hi and have a bit of a chat and go from there. So we will be looking at the Podcast Awards, but we will be doing that in like a half hour or so when and if people get on, because we are going to start off with a conversation with Tangi Utikere about the old How's Your Fathers, the old ferries, the ferries, the fathers, and Chewie. Hello, mate. Decided to come tonight? You thought that'd be worth turning up at some stage?
Oh, you didn't send me the link.
I did send you the link. Don't you dare say that. Try and get you from last night.
No, this is my fault. I had spent most of today with an absolute cracking migraine.
Oh, no good.
Super good on a nice sunny day, right? So yeah.
You all right now? Tell me.
Wee bit spacey, but
Dude,
doing okay.
Sorry to hear that. Anywho, I've said, Chewie, if you've just been dialing in, because we're on dial-up broadband, dial-up internet here in Dunedin, that there's a big old day for BHN and some of its whānau. We'll be talking about that around 9:30 because I've made an invitation to all the other hosts to join us if they want to. Now, they may not be able to, but if they want to. I want to say also a huge thank you to all of our patrons. You guys are the reason we are able to do what we can do. I should have had a look at what the Patreon number was at. Remember, we're aiming to try and get to 500 by Christmas. What are we at? Chewie? What are we at, Chewie? I go audience and I go active. And we are at 489. A couple more in the last 24 hours. Thank you, team. Remember, though, this is not just a pitch to like, yo, give. This is like if you have been around for a while and you want to support what we're doing, and you can stay with us for 12 months, because that's important for planning for next year. Because then we get to do things like start off new podcasts. If you've been to bhn.nz recently, maybe today, you will notice there's a brand new show listed up there, The Collective. The Collective has its own page with all sorts of information about the hosts, and the podcasts are going up there. Obviously, when we launched this about 12 months ago, we were calling it The Leftist Collective. It's changed now to The Collective. So that is there, and that is online, and that is part of the network. That is the Big Hairy Network, as opposed to the show that is Big Hairy News. So yeah, that's there. That's up and running. And whilst you're there, if you want to have a look around, feel free to have a look at the merch. Remember, we're doing a special this week that you get stickers with anything you purchase. If you purchase a T-shirt, you get a Lucky Dip 4-pack of stickers. If you purchase a hoodie, you get a Lucky Dip 8-pack of stickers, and I think we sell our 8-packs for like $32, so that's the retail value of it. But on top of all of that, you can look at this nice new sign up here. Hey, Christmas banner. On top of all of that, you can also, if you buy 2 items, you get half price off the second item. So if you buy 2 T-shirts, you get the 4 stickers because you bought a T-shirt. but you also get half price off the second t-shirt. If you buy 2 hoodies, you get that 8-pack of stickers, and you get half price off the second hoodie. If you buy a t-shirt and a hoodie, then you pay full price for the hoodie and you get half price off the t-shirt, and you get 8 stickers because there's a hoodie in that pack. Yep, that's what we're doing. Stickers are there. Enamels are there. The enamels are going like hotcakes, man. Everyone seems to be loving them. And everyone still likes to get the, speaking of Gary Stevenson last night, the tax work less, tax wealth more seems to still be the favourite. I suspect we're going to have to order more of those before the end of summer. That's how well those are going. Flying out the door. They're flying out the door. So let us get into our first conversation of the day. We will get into it now rather than doing a 19-minute introduction because, as I said, around half past, we might have some BHN whānau joining us. So let us welcome to the show, direct from Parliament, Labour Party MP and spokesperson, I think, for transport. We'll double check that. It's Tangi Utikere. Hey, g'day, Tangi. What's up?
Tēnā kōrua. Good to be with you tonight. Hey, and all the big congratulations for your success with the New Zealand Podcast Awards. Very well deserved indeed.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you
mate.
very much. We're talking to you about the ferries tonight. Is that transport? What's your portfolio that covers ferries?
Yeah, it is transport. So I know
Okay.
there's a separate rail minister, etc., but we have that all in the one package.
Because it is kind of infrastructure as well, isn't it? It's sort of the road between the North and South Island.
Yeah, it's the Blue Highway.
Yeah. Okay, but it comes under transport. It was a very interesting day yesterday watching Mr. Peters, and it was an interesting day watching Mr. Peters today as well. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But we did feature it last night in the show, but because the news kind of came out later in the afternoon, we sort of didn't give it the full hey-ho. We featured it, we looked at it, and we had a bit of a chat because on first investigation, it does seem to have some pretty big holes in the plan, like, for example, thinking they're not going to include the sunk costs as a part of the expenses for what the taxpayers paying for the ferries. And also Mr. Peters saying yesterday, some people said it was going to be as high as 4.2 billion. So actually we're saving, I was like, some people might have said, Mr. Peters, it was going to be 50 billion. Why didn't you just do that? And then you could have been saving the country $48 billion. It would have been even better. But rather than, I guess, meandering through our first feels and thoughts about it, I guess we'll just give it to you, someone who's in the House at the moment, and this is your portfolio to talk over. We got an announcement yesterday. New ferries are coming. What do you think about that, Tangi?
Well, it's a whole big shambles, really. And you're right. I mean, what I was saying yesterday and what I've been saying today, so when I heard it, is that, Winston Peters has basically swept under the rug the $671 million that Nicola Willis cost taxpayers and Kiwis as a result of cancelling the ferries. He gets a bit tetchy around that. You probably would have noticed that yesterday when it was put to him a few times, but he's not really sort of fronting up in that particular space. But he loves to pluck a few numbers out of the air from time to time. The bottom line is this. We're going to be paying more and we're going to get less. And we're going to have to wait longer to actually get these ferries. We had ferries on order, underway, cheaper here arriving next year. So it's pretty disappointing, to be fair.
We talked quite recently when Mr. Peters made the announcement that there was an upcoming announcement and talked about he'd be saving the country billions. That might have been 6 or 8 weeks ago. And so we did the numbers pretty quickly. And if the original kind of blowout budget was going to be 3 billion, 3.5 billion, saving billions means at least 2. And the sunk costs were 700 million. That means he had to do everything else within about $400 million, including buying the ferries and all the infrastructure for them to be able to save billions. That's just how numbers work, Mr. Peters. This is what I'm trying to figure out, right? How do we make sure this doesn't turn into a partisan online argument where everyone just believes what their side takes them? This is mathematics. This is numbers. How do we ensure that the public know you can still support the blue tie if you want, but you got it do it accepting this is the reality of what we're looking at right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is about making sure that the questions are asked and that they're answered. So the 671 million is a good example where Mr. Peters is just not prepared to actually be fairly public about including that in his figures. The other part, of course, is that, the existing fleet, which is down one, our rail-enabled ferry is out of action. It's been retired. Those ferries will need to have increased maintenance because the lifespan of their life is basically being pushed out. So that's additional cost that he hasn't also fronted up that, we wouldn't have been paying had the new ferries arrived next year, but instead we have to lump on through to 2029 or even beyond, paying additional costs, because when I put the questions, we all understand, when things get a bit older, they need a bit more maintenance. And we're talking about the tens of millions of dollars just for the maintenance costs of the existing inter-island fleet while we wait.
There's a really important point that was said to me by someone within the maritime world in Wellington yesterday. I don't know if you guys are mentioning this yet, but if you're not, can I ask you to start pushing through, or at least investigating, the rail-enabled ferries? Because the point that was made to us yesterday was, if a business in the North Island has to wait minimum 4 years before they get back their rail-enabled ferry, then what they're going to do is they're going to set up a different way to deliver their product to the South Island. And once they set up that different way to deliver their product to the South Island, there's no guarantees they'll come back to using rail-enabled ferries. So this may also, I'm thankful that Mr. Peters has got rail-enabled ferries, but because of the delay, it might end up being that those rail-enabled ferries are a bit of a white elephant if everyone else has figured better ways, cheaper ways to get their product to the South Island.
You are 100% right. I mean, we support the rail-enabled ferries. That's what we wanted all along. Ours, that were due to arrive next year, were going to be rail-enabled. And we do have some real concern that, businesses, people moving freight, all of those sorts of things will be forced to change their tact now, because there is no rail enablement to get them across on the Inter-Islander and through to these new ferries arrive. And so their business opportunities change, their way of doing things change, and you're spot on. I mean, it becomes the new norm, the new routine. Who knows what's going to happen in 4 years' time, 5 years' time. So that is something that is a real issue that a lot of people, I don't think, have actually factored in to this disruption that's going to be caused.
Well, the other thing is, of course, Chewie and I, Dunedin, this may also cause us a lot more costs, because the product getting from the North Island to the South Island, like if you were a business and you were moving stuff around the country and you had to eat the costs for, 3 to 6 months because that was the time between the new ferry and the, maybe you'd do that. But 4 years at best, 4 years at best, right? Doesn't mean any delays, another global pandemic, whatever else. At best, 4 years, you're just not going to eat those costs. And those of us in the South Island might end up paying more for stuff traveling from the north to the south.
You're right. I mean, those of you in the South Island can feel as though you're being pretty much ripped off by the current government in areas of transport. I mean, there's not a lot of investment in transport. These roads of national party significance, there's hardly many of them in the South Island, full stop. And let's not forget that with the rail-enabled ferry now out of action for that minimum, at best, 4 to 5 years, people and businesses are going to have to start changing. Well, they've already had to start changing the way they do things. And with that will come more cost.
We might have to have a chat to the Minister for the South Island, seeing he's around so much, Chewie.
I was just going to say, with any day now, our Minister for the South Island is going to ride to our rescue, I'm sure, by gently, almost imperceptibly tapping on the caucus room door with a suggestion that will not be heard. Fantastic.
What else, Chewie?
I wouldn't hold your breath too long.
No. Look, I think the big thing here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the vast majority of these savings that Winston has conjured up is by just pushing aside the landside infrastructure upgrades like Picton's Wharf, what needs to be done to earthquake strengthen Wellington's Wharf. Those costs are still there and still growing because nothing ever gets cheaper over time. They're just not in the ferry project anymore. Am I right in that?
That's right. And the other thing, of course, is that the port operators, so for example, in Picton, it's run by Marlborough District Council, largely through the port, they're going to have to fund a lot of that. So the infrastructure costs were always a part of, even with IREX, was a part of the package. But really, Mr. Peters is just sort of glossing over a number of things and is focusing on figures that he's plucking out from all over the place to make it sound as though he's cut a good deal. But actually, as I say, we're going to be paying more and we're going to be getting less and we're going to have to wait much longer. So it is a pretty raw deal. All a result, as we know, because Nicola Willis decided to cancel what was a project. And, we had, what was it, 551 million for those 2 ships arriving next year, just under 600 million for the ships alone. That Mr. Peters is, I understand, heading off to China next week to go and check out the shipyard to see what's happening there. And we still have to wait.
Here's something I noticed, and I watched the press conference yesterday, and I have to tell you, after he delivered his sermon, stood back and went, "Any questions?" I've never seen him grumpier. Like, you're saying that he didn't respond well, because the reporters were like, sunk costs? What about, and one of the things he said, and I'm not going to use the whole quote because I tweeted this yesterday, so I'm looking at my own Twitter feed. Peters was talking about the 6 companies New Zealand spoke to, and he said, quote, "Can't tell us the name," or tell us the name. He said, because, quote, "the process is still going on." Now, if the process is still going on, and if that's the reason he can't tell us the names, how the hell has he got a number? Because the process is still going on.
Exactly. I mean, this is also a lot of the stuff that's been shrouded in secrecy, where he makes an announcement to say, the next big news flash is coming. And it's like, well, we've got a deal on the way, but the specifics don't come out till 2, 3, 4 months later. So it might be that he's heading off, to China next week or whenever he's heading that way to finalise the next step of the deal arrangement. So when he says that the ships are going to cost just under $600 million, it could very well be the case that that will continue to grow as more of those deal aspects are locked in. But again, just happy for him to gloss over numbers and throw a whole pile of figures in the air as well.
We also hear yesterday that possibly Blue Bridge is going to be sold. And if Blue Bridge is sold and they get a new company to own them and run them, and if it's not as profitable as they want, and then they strip those assets, then we come down to just our publicly owned ferries. So that's a concern as well.
Yeah, that's right. And as we have also seen, as the current fleet has sort of limped along from time to time, there have been huge disruptions to service as well. And so what you really want is you want to have a good public service, absolutely. But, there is an absolute role for Blue Bridge as well across the Cook Strait. It adds competition, but also provides for families who often face a lot of disruption as they move around summer and other months as well. We need a resilient connection across the Cook Strait, the Blue Highway, as we said before. That's not really what this government is giving us right now. They're saying you just have to wait, help is on its way, when things could have been fixed much, much sooner than they actually could have been.
Well, they could have been just left the hell alone, because the best time to pay for something you're going to build is yesterday, not certainly in 12, 18, 24 months from now. I've got a few other questions, Chewie, but I want to hear your thoughts still around this, because the ferries have been something that we have refused to drop up to and including in our merch for a very long time.
It's because, God, isn't this one of those things where you just really hope that you were wrong? Like, even though we would have had to eat a big old pile of crow if we were wrong, we weren't. We weren't wrong from the day of Willis announcing that she was cancelling it. It was just like, okay, well, this doesn't sound good at all. And everyone we spoke to said the same thing. It was a knee-jerk reaction with no plan in place. There was the borderline diplomatic incident of texting it to the Koreans. This is one of those things that cannot be forgotten. And I think when we're talking about, the South Island, now, traditionally, the farmers of Southland, Mid-Canterbury, Otago, have been very strong national supporters.
Mm.
And at this point, the southern half of the South Island gets a cut down hospital. There's less beds than the old one that we've got down here now. We, as you said, less investment into our roading network, and now our rail link is going to be severed. Like, do those farmers that rely on those things, do they see their team doing it to them? Because they don't care. They don't care about us. They know that those farmers will not change. And I can't see why they're not absolutely furious at this. They're suspiciously quiet, considering how noisy they were, how willing they were to drive their tractors through the centre of every regional hub in the South Island last government. Why are they so quiet now?
Yeah, I think that tide is slowly turning, and it's going back to what you said earlier, that this is something that we just cannot have anyone forget about. Doesn't matter where I travel around the country, when you talk about the ferries, you don't have to be in Picton, you don't have to be in Wellington to understand that this is a huge botch up. It really is. And the one person who is purely responsible for this, and you guys have been saying this all along, is Nicola Willis. She is the one that made that decision, a stupid decision, to cancel the ferries without having any alternative plan B, C, D, or E in place. She did that by text message, and that was the end of the matter. And so everywhere around the country, all you need to say is ferries, and you get the eye roll, the eye rolls, you get the, oh, that is terrible. People cannot forget that she is the person who's responsible, and that Winston Peters is sweeping the $671 million under the rug as a result of bailing her out and coming to her rescue.
And I'm not arrogant in saying this, but day fucking one, we said what's going to happen is we're either going to get, our best case scenario is to pay the same to get less, and I think we were talking about what'll happen next when she said second-hand Corolla, don't need the Ferrari, is what would happen. We've said this from day one. What will end up happening is we'll pay Ferrari prices for a second-hand Corolla. And it's exactly what's happened. A lesser product for the same, if not more money. And a government, and I'm just coming back to that point, that I want to figure out how we can make sure they can't run away from this. I don't have any problem with someone going, I support Blue, and yes, they cocked it up and I hate it, but I'm still going to support them. I do have a problem with people going, I support Blue and they've done nothing wrong. So I want to figure out how we can get into a conversation where people are first acknowledge, let's start from a foundation of truth. This is in place like this because primarily of Nicola Willis, Nikki No Boats. Thanks for the merch sponsorship, Nikki, because we've done quite well on that. But obviously enabled by the people around her as well, and then everyone else. It's like she started to dig the hole, yeah, and everyone around her either jumped in to help digging or threw the shovels to continue the digging, and it's just gotten deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's so frustrating because this is not one of those, oh well, you think this and I think this, and this is maths, and the maths ain't mathsing.
No, and she made the call, and the entire government is complicit in the actions the action by text message that she took. What we need to do is keep reminding people that when they, have to buy goods and items, and that has to be transported across the Cook Strait, and the price is more, the price of moving freight has increased, that is due to Nicola Willis. When the cost of goods increase, that is due to Nicola Willis. When there is disruption during summer, when lots of people are travelling and suddenly there is no alternative because the Inter-Islander breaks down or needs to be out of maintenance, that is because of Nicola Willis, and we're waiting longer for new boats. So absolutely, the full government is complicit in this terrible, terrible decision. But we just cannot wait until next year's election and then everyone think, oh, it's all good, tickety-boo. No, she is responsible. She is why we're experiencing this pain, and why this is going to cost so much more money.
Yeah. And look, I said this to Chippy on the show, and I'll say it to you. If you guys become government in 12 months from now, can we please rename those two ferries we've got right now, the SS Nicola Willis and the SS Christopher Luxon? Because I want I took a ferry in January. Arguably it was a Blue Bridge, but I'm understanding Blue Bridge was the example they were using, and that broke down on the way over, that they nearly didn't continue on, and it was rusted out. And I dug a bit of paint off with rust all underneath it. So that's their example. Because at least then for the next 4 years, when people get cancelled or get stuck or whatever, they can look at the name of the boat and be reminded of who it is that has kept them on that boat. That's what I want you to do. But before we go there, this is my actual question. How much does this now hinder Labour? Because if you guys get in 12 months, if you become government, I'm assuming you can't there go cancel it again and start all over again, because it'll be another 5 years. So what are you guys talking about as to how you're going to deal with this once you become government, should you become government, and can anything change, can anything improve, or do you guys have to just polish this turd all the way to 2029?
Winston Peters is making it difficult because he's basically constrained the government into that time frame. And even more so is actually not kind of being open about all of the information about costs, contracts, all of those sorts of things. So we really don't have a full picture as to what the full deal looks like. So it will depend on what that looks like. I mean, we've been very clear that, this stop-start mentality can't continue for our country. Things will not grind to a halt under a new Labor government, but we are largely constrained by this sort of shroud of secrecy that Winston Peters seems to also have in existence at the moment. So what we're hoping is that he actually comes out with all the information rather than relying on us to OIA things and all this sort of stuff, so that we can actually be in a position to be able to make some decisions when that time comes.
Yeah. And what about from here on in? So that's in 12 months from now. What happens with the next 12 months for you guys, specifically around this issue? Just lots of noise being made? Is that where you're at?
Yep, a lot of accountability. So in a couple of weeks' time, we'll have scrutiny opportunities around roading and ferries and all of those sorts of things kicking up underway. That's been an opportunity where we've got to the bottom of some of the costs. You may recall the government were very, very sheepish about telling us how much it was going to cost for maintenance for the current fleet. And then we found out that it was in the tens of millions of dollars. They were also a bit sheepish about, the cancellation clause and how much that was going to cost as well. So we'll be holding them to account. They've said that this is on its way. Well, what are we going to get? When are we going to get it? How are things progressing? Who's doing this? All of those sorts of things, which is an important role for us.
And just remember, next time Nikki Noboats gets her Nick Twickers, knickers in a twist about what the Greens are doing and how the Greens can't advertise that they're going to stop policy. That's how irresponsible. Just remind her how she's been stopping policy from the last lot, including this, all the way through. Can you do that for us, Tangi?
Absolutely. I mean, a couple of days ago, face-to-face, I reminded her that she sent a text message to cancel the ferries. She got quite tetchy about that. So every chance we get, we will be reminding her and others about the role that she has played in this terrible, terrible saga.
Yeah. All right. Anything to wrap with, Chewie? Any other last remaining questions?
Oh, look, I'm just trying to think of even more creative names to christen these ferries when they arrive.
We got to do it. The SS Willis Titanic, the Titanic Willis, sinking something. I would love that so much. Every time I get on that ferry, it gets on that ferries and it's old and slow and loud. All they're doing the whole way over is thinking of Christopher Luxon and Nicola Willis. That would just be the best.
A permanent reminder.
Tangi, thank you so much for giving us some time tonight. Thank you for jumping in and joining on. And we will continue this fight from this end. And we look forward to speaking to you over the next 12 months as we lead up to the next election.
No, look, that sounds good. I mean, it's been great to join you tonight because we're in urgency. So we're here till midnight. We were here till midnight last night and we'll be here till midnight tomorrow and possibly midnight on Saturday. Why? Because the current government can't get their stuff together and sort out the legislative program. So instead we're here. So great to spend my evening talking with you.
Thanks, Tangi. Talk to you soon, mate. All the best.
Cheers, mate.
All right. Let's I can't do that because that needs to go up there because it's a funny system. We have some people arriving in the groom room. We can hear the people going dunk, dunk, dunk. Do you hear that in the chat? Do you hear it when someone turns up and goes bunk like that? Because I hear it. Do you hear it too?
No, it's only you, and like because of the way that StreamYard's working at the moment, I don't hear it, whereas I used to. So
We'll go. We'll go and grab some people shortly. Kiwi Bird says Seymour versus Peters. Cook a fight night when? Yeah, we're going to get to that after we have a bit of a hangout with the whānau shortly. Gold, chilling out with only 394 days at most of the coalition of chaos. Alice says ferries in the brain, ferries down the drain. Tangi says late fee obligatory, rimmers a prat comment. I'm going to leave those other ones till later on. Has Winston Peters forgotten we're an island nation? And it's from Peter, thank you, Peter, and Ishnan. Nikki, no savings. Right. Let me go and delete those. How was your day, Chewie? Did you get up to much today? Was there much going on?
No, I just spent a large portion of it in my room with the curtains drawn, so that was awesome. One thing I did watch when I felt up to watching was I often talk about like the Aotearoa history show that Radio New Zealand does.
Yep.
They did one on New Zealand, the history of New Zealand rail. And there was one, like when we're talking about like budgets and financial expenditure on infrastructure, there was one figure that they mentioned that stuck out, and that is at the turn of the century, or just after the turn of the century, the 1910s and that sort of thing, the rail network and building the rail network was eating up 48% of our budget.
Wow.
Like, that's how much effort was put into making sure rail links went to where they were supposed to. And then they didn't even last like 100 years. We started ripping them up in the 50s. And I just thought that was fucking remarkable. And doesn't that sound like what they're proposing with nationals, roads of national significance and stuff like that? Like that, what was it? The Northern Expressway that was eating up like one of every $10 for the next couple of decades of the transport budget.
Yes, good series. I should watch them. Should we get some people in now who are sitting there watching us? I'm just trying to find something. Give me one more second. Because I've got an idea.
What is going on?
Oh, that's all right. I got an idea.
What is going on?
It's okay.
Just very briefly before you do that, one of the things that is really stoked, like it was great for us to feature in the podcast awards and our ancillary products with Craig Rennie and Dr. Gary. But one of my mates' podcasts featured quite well. He took out the gold prize, the judge's pick, Jez Brown's podcast Interconnector, which is just basically him talking to his mates about music.
Oh, very cool.
He did well in the arts and culture category as well. So,
well, let's do it,
Jez, if you're watching, well done, mate.
This is like stars as far as the eye can see now. We have got award-winning podcasters as far as the eye can see. From Friday night BHN, Bright Hearing News. Let's welcome Magenta. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
From Locked Out, let's welcome Craig Rennie. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Oh,
and from the front line, it's Dr. Gary Payenda. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
And from nothing whatsoever, but it'll make a nice 6 frame. There's the dog. Which is the dog there, because it's a nicer frame. Well, whānau. Today, we had announced the New Zealand Podcast Awards. Holy moly, that's a lot of people down the side. And I'll probably get rid of the dog now. And as you go through the New Zealand Podcast Awards, well, let's read this paragraph. The coveted Listener's Choice title, decided entirely by public vote, went to BHN Big Hearing News, reflecting the show's highly engaged audience across subscriptions and social channels. True crime series, yada 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 yada. And yeah, there was a lot of interesting podcasts in there. We get to just trying to look for it now. Fiction, health, history, independent, interview. Did I might have gone past. Did I squeeze past current events?
You did.
Maybe.
It's further up. It's further up.
Oh, all right. I'm just so excited about this whole thing. My fingers. There we go. Best current affairs podcast. Silver, Locked Out with Craig Rennie. Bronze, The Front Line with Dr. Gary Pienda. Podcast award winners, and then one other one, which I actually think is kind of cool actually. Best network or publisher. So when you think about stuff.co.nz or RNZ or MediaWorks, they're publishers. So Spinoff got the gold. Frank Podcast, which I think is Tim Batt's group, and little old BHN in that one as well. So a lovely time with 4 awards today. It means everyone who has been doing a podcast on the Big Hairy Network got an award today. Well done, guys. It's amazing, and congratulations. Gary, you were the first person I told. What are your thoughts?
I just can't believe it. This has just been a crazy week for me. So a few days ago, I was able to reveal that I can name myself as Whangarei's candidate for Labour. And that's been wild. Like in 3 or 4 days, we've got 900 followers on the new campaign that was just started. And then today I get a text from you saying you won this award, or I won this award. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because it wasn't like I was out there soliciting and saying, please guys, vote for me. It's just some people decided that they get some value out of the front line. And that's all I care about. Like, there's a group of people that enjoy this thing. How awesome is that? Like, that's the award, right? I mean, bronze, silver, whatever. Like, there's actually people who enjoy this and think it's worthwhile. And that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So, I phoned you up, Gary, and said, hi, podcast award winner. And Craig, then I phoned you and said, hi, podcast award winner. What are your thoughts?
I was astonished, to be deadly honest. I saw in the section that we were in, we were beaten by The Detail, which must have a production team that is more than most of the people on your street, Pat.
So I also know, I'm not sure what their budget is this time, but certainly in the past, The Detail, which is the newsroom, I think the newsroom and RNZ combined, gets New Zealand On Air funding of over $800,000 a year.
Wow.
And we came second to that from a bloke with a dodgy accent writing it rapidly on a Tuesday the day before. So delighted over the I couldn't have done this without either of you, Pat or Chewie, doing this work, your promotion of the podcast. Pat, the hours that you've spent repairing the audio because my internet line is terrible. All the other things, they're the things that have actually made the difference here. We've managed to chuck out 29 episodes of Locked Out, which is probably the most I've ever been committed to anything in my entire life.
Don't let your wife hear say that, bro.
As a consequence, I am, thrilled with people, supporting it. But it shows that there is an audience out there who wants to hear a progressive news outlet telling people that other choices are possible and other choices will lead to better outcomes. So I'm just delighted that we're helping get the message out for everyone on this call.
Magenta, you're out. What I was doing, Chewie, just so you know, is I spoke to Emily today and she said that she was live streaming some gaming. And so I just went to her YouTube page to see if I could see if she was live streaming right now. And we could have gone and watched her, and so she would have been a part of it. But she's not, I don't think. So that means, Magenta, you are the Friday night representative. What are your thoughts? You can put on your CV now, award-winning podcaster.
Well, yeah, actually, I was just playing D&D before this with some other BHNers, and I did pull that line, maybe just a little. But no, honestly, I think a lot like Gary. I'm surprised anyone wants to listen to us, but I'm also stoked that people do and that we're able to have the community that we have, because it's definitely special. And it's also just giving me hope for next year, because obviously we've got a lot to do with this upcoming election. And I think there's a lot of work that will be on BHN's shoulders to help kind of push through, especially given the fact that we all know that the right have a lot more money, especially to inject into mainstream media. So I also took some of the comments of, well, where's our funding? We're going to have to see who's giving us these funding monies. I don't know. It's awesome. I'm just really stoked.
So officially, Emily is now with us because she's live streaming right now as we speak. So this is us live streaming, watching Emily live stream. She has no idea we're watching her, but I thought that could be funny.
That's hilarious.
There we go. You can tell her that later on, Magenta. Yeah, and look, it's incredibly gratifying. I mean, obviously, all the work that goes on behind the scenes contributes towards the things that we do, and I like making quality product. I have right since my radio days and that kind of stuff, and working with you lot, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty good quality, and it's just one of those things as well that goes, money is not the thing that necessarily makes something quality. Like I think I've told this story before. When we won a bunch of awards in New York for a radio show we did, we were competing against like the BBC and CNN and these literal places, and we'd made our product in a blanket fort. We built a fort out of blankets to make our product. That's how we soundproofed it, and we won 7 golds in the 1 year we did it. So it's I mean, like, budget's lovely, and the cool thing about this is this really is the grassroots. We're not closed off to the idea of sponsorship and advertising, but we haven't taken any yet. So this is 100% grassroots, funded by the people watching, funded by the patrons. We get a little bit of ad spend on YouTube, just the generic-y stuff. And yeah, as you said, Craig, the detail, and even more than that, you think about the kind of publisher or networking that big hairy network got. That's up against MediaWorks and stuff, and RNZ and those guys. So it's very gratifying, and I'm pretty excited, pretty proud of all you guys. It's been a fun ride for the last few months.
So Pat, I've got to ask you, what does it feel like to be the Rupert Murdoch of the left? Because you are building a media empire here, right? This will be the future CNN, the future Fox News.
I think
with a humane bent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm meaner than Rupert Murdoch, so we'll put that out there. It's I mean, like, I've been working in media since the 1990s, like started in radio in the late 1990s. And it's just what we get now with being able to break through that barrier with a cell phone and an internet connection is amazing, And I'll say it again, and this is not to brown nose, I've said it before on the show. The audience we've got, and that means the audience we've got for everyone, for Craig and for Gary and for Friday nights, and now for the for the collective, is the most amazing audience I've ever experienced. Like, I've seen nothing like it ever before. I've done radio shows that have spoken to far bigger audiences, but I've never experienced community like this audience for all of us gives the network community. It's it's humbling is what it is, which is hard for me because I'm a fairly arrogant person, but it is humbling. It's cool, eh? It's real cool.
It's unbelievable to have a 16-year-old come to you and say they watch BHN stuff, and then to have an 80-year-old say they watch BHN stuff. Like, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful thing you've done. Thank you for having done it.
I mean, this is what we do. And I guess the exciting thing, and I think it was Magenta who messaged me back saying, as we lead into the Christmas party. So it's nice. So we've got a couple of weeks' time. For people who already know what's going on, there is a big, hairy network meetup, because Gary's going to be there, Craig's going to be there, Magenta's going to be there, Emily's going to be there, in Dunedin, at Adju, which is a Danish cafe in George Street in the town at 5:30 p.m. on Friday the 5th, followed by Gary speaking and Craig speaking and Sophie Barker, our mayor, speaking on the dire emergency our health system is, in a public meeting that's being advertised to the whole city. We're not putting on those billboards, the BHN meetup. That's a bit more on the DL, so just for you guys. And it'll just be a bunch of award-winning podcasters getting together for a Christmas party. Just a bunch of us. I think that's called a cluke, isn't it? A cluke of podcasters. I don't know. I'm just trying to make up words now.
A pod?
Chewie,
Podcasters.
Chewie, you've been on this ride almost as long as I have with this particular product. I'll give you the last word before we head off and get back to our real job. We got anything you want to say?
Look, I'm going to say something that Pat couldn't, because he would just turn into a black hole of
well, I'm interested now.
blowing
What's
his
this going to
own
be?
horn. Yeah. This has all come from Pat, and Pat does the absolute lion's share of getting this going. Quite often make jokes about the fact that I turn up at 10 to 5 to 2 minutes to, or bang on time like a wizard should.
When you said 10 to and 5 to, I thought you literally were talking about 10 seconds to, because that's not uncommon.
Yeah. Look, I turn up and I react. It's Pat that is doing a lot of the clips. It's Pat that's driven this product. It's Pat that puts all the stories together. It's Pat that's made the links to Craig and Dr. Gary and everybody else that tracks down the guests. He's the engine room of this whole thing. So we wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for Pat. And I'm just glad that it has resonated with so many people. Like Gary has said, people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I watch BHN all the time." Like the email I sent to my old high school, the principal going, "Oh yeah, I watch BHN all the time." Just very, very matter of factly, is still a mind fuck to me. It's remarkable, and it is so important as we go into an election year. Yeah. That we take this momentum and turbocharge it, and I think we're in exactly the right place to do it.
Before we go, Whānau, because this is for everybody, Joel 492, BHN, for everyone on the right side of history. 8 Vasta, congratulations, BHN, cool progressive hosts and community, ka pai. We'll leave that one, that's not, no. Someone saying pancake batter, got nothing at award. I doubt they participate, but anyway. Big Olby says fantastic news, BHN. Congrats to the whole team. JC and the Pigeon Cat says congrats, Pat, Chewie and crew. Your mahi has been huge in growing the left wing space and pumping out quality content every week. The listener's choice win is well deserved. So proud to support you. Thank you so much, and thank you for the generous super chat as well. And Bubba says congrats on the, I guess that's the win. Here's to growing voice. And that's about it, guys. Thanks for jumping in. I'm excited that you're all, awards on the greater scheme of things are not really a particularly big deal, but they're nice. Put it this way, it's nicer to get one than not get one. They don't really change your life. They don't change your paycheck very much. But they are an acknowledgement, and I'm excited to have done all this stuff with you guys. And I'm proud of what we've put out there. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
And you can go to bed tonight with this comment that I read a couple minutes ago. Your show and your network is the antidote for despair. And I think that's worth thinking about for a second.
That's
it's
nice.
True. I feel it is.
Very good.
That makes my heart.
All right. On that night, I'm going to kick you all out of the room now. Me and Chewie are going to wrap up the show. So
all right. Thanks for having
we will
us.
see you next time. Congratulations on the win, guys.
Congratulations, everybody.
And we'll see you when we see you and talk to you when we talk to you.
See you.
I'm not actually going to kick you out. You need to leave yourselves because I'm just sitting here and waiting. So because I did that on Friday night with Emily and Magenta, I tried to kick myself out and I ended the whole stream. So I wasn't going to do that. Now, what? Sorry, yes, Chewie, I heard the intake of breath.
I was going to say the other acknowledgement needs to be made that, of course, this was a Listener's Choice Award. And it was noted that it was because we have a very engaged audience.
Yeah.
We see the same names in our chat night after night and have done for years. Just hats off to you guys. Like, we wouldn't be doing it if you guys didn't turn up and do it with us. So thank you. Thanks.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Now, I have a small concern. I may have deleted a super chat. And if I have someone in the chat tell me it was them, and I'll go back and find it. This one from Brian Willis: arrogance shows her ignorance. And Wooming says, let's not forget Iraq's port infrastructure was to last 100 years. New plan is 30-year lifespan, so more cost in 30 years. This must be added to Winnie's plan. Now, that's all the super chats that I've got. I have a concern that I may have deleted one because I was kind of going in between them all to do the ones about the awards first. If that's you, if I've missed yours, then message me in the message, just normal message, and I'll go back and if I've missed you and you care, message me in the thing and I'll go and find it. Right. Let's get on to this last story, shall we? It's a really weird one. Actually, there's two more stories. We might do two, Chewie, because we're a bit early, aren't we? I mean, we can't finish before.
I was going to say.
Because Hannah has
Last
spoken.
story before the top of the hour?
Well, Hannah spoke today about Te Pāti Māori and what's been going on there.
Yes.
Okay, so probably we'll all do that. All right, but let's do this first one. And can I just be really, really honest? I think this is one of the most cowardly things I've ever seen in politics. Winston fucking Peters, who had the ability and chance, if he wanted to stop the regulatory standards bill, passed it, and now he's saying, I'm going to oppose it. Honestly, I'm sorry, I don't accept it was a part of the coalition agreement, because what he's actively saying is there is this terrible policy that I had to sign on so I wouldn't find my balls. I mean, he could have blown it up in a heartbeat. He chose not to. He is literally the definition of having his cake and eating it too, because he passed it. And you wait till we play the story if you've seen no footage. Last week in the House, what New Zealand First said about this thing, they were all glowing about it. And today he's basically saying this is communism. I mean, he's not using those words, but he's saying it's the worst of the worst. It is the most cowardly thing I've ever seen in politics. Let's have a squiz.
It only became law 2 days ago with the help of his party, but Winston Peters is already vowing to ditch it. A coalition clash has erupted after the New Zealand First leader publicly stated he'll repeal David Seymour's Regulatory Standards Act. Peters says he'll campaign against it in next year's election. David Seymour firing back with a warning that New Zealand First is cozying up to Labour. Here's senior political reporter Benedict Collins.
Speaker! This time last week, the government was harmoniously passing a new law.
Mr. Speaker, the Regulatory Standards Bill is a good idea that has been a long time coming.
Yeah, 20 years. He said today in one of the interviews that this has been Act's plan for 20 years. So, John Key, any of those people that hand shook him, probably Don Brash is in there as well. You've all got a part of this. Because this has been Act's plan for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. This is the definition of the long game. And they're going to show it in here. You wait till you see last week what New Zealand First was saying about this regulatory standards bill that today Winston Peters is saying is of the devil.
I congratulate the ACT Party.
New Zealand First was singing its praises.
We support this bill because on the fundamentals it promotes open and accountable government that legislates with key principles in mind: the rule of law, efficiency in regulation, property rights.
The party's position was crystal clear.
We have no hesitation in commending this bill to the House.
But
they had no hesitation last week, but today this is undemocratic. But last week, no hesitation. So therefore, did you just finally read it for the first time, Mr. Peters, and realise what you had passed? Or last week, were you lying? Because they're the only two options. You've only just realised what you've passed, or you were lying last week. They're your only two options.
For a week, and it turns out they actually detest this law.
Because you're putting all the power in the hands of a small unelected committee.
Yes.
That's not how democracy works.
Yes.
Democracy works this way. The politicians make the decision and the people get to pass their verdict every 3 years.
So you're actively telling us, Mr. Peters, that this is not how democracy works. The policy and legislation that you enabled to happen is also enabling democracy not to work. So you broke democracy, Mr. Peters, and now you're trying to go, oh, but we're going to do something about it. You could have done something about it 2 weeks ago. Not next year. Not in 18 months from now.
Objecting to a regulatory standards board having oversight of and weighing in on ministers' legislation.
That sort of intervention in the democratic process is not fit for a modern democracy. It was in the coalition agreement, but we will campaign against it in 2026.
Oh, well, that's great.
Well, it's pretty worrying because that's Labor's position. It sounds like he's getting ready to go with Labor again.
Saying Mr. Peters is all over the place.
It's hard to know what he's trying to do from one day to the next. What's clear is that this is a landmark piece of legislation that ACT would never vote to get rid of. So if he wants to do that, he's got to go with Labor.
Don't make me laugh.
Mr. Seymour says ACT has worked on this law for 20 years and keeping it is a bottom line.
If his goal is to get rid of the Regulatory Standards Act, he's not going to get votes from us to do that, so he'd have to go with Labor.
The way that the government is polling, the general unpopularity that they're experiencing, perhaps is having an impact on Winston Peters and New Zealand First, and it looks like they're wanting to differentiate themselves.
Yep.
Labor clearly enjoying the coalition chaos.
Winston Peters really firing a shot today, Benedict. Is that shot effectively the starting gun for next year's election campaign?
Well, it definitely feels that way, and Winston Peters has certainly put a cat among the pigeons today by promising to kill off ACT's legislative baby. But it's also quite a sneaky political move here from Winston Peters. No sooner was the ink dry on this new law than he's promising to bury it. I did notice, though, that after the law passed last week, a lot of the criticism was actually directed at New Zealand First and at Winston Peters. Those critics were saying, Mr. Peters, this bill goes against everything that you and New Zealand First stand for. It seems now that perhaps Winston Peters feels the same way. But what's going to be really interesting here is to watch over the next year how things play out between David Seymour and Winston Peters.
I agree on that. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, I'm not trying to belittle it. I've said in the past that back in the day, interviewing Winston was quite fun because he's so argumentative. But it is going to be fun to watch, even though it's probably going to be toxic and horrific and not good for the country. But to step back and watch those two have a crack at each other, if they could, either of them could wish anything after the next election, it's that they didn't have to deal with the other person. So that's going to be enjoyable to watch, if nothing else.
Look, they have a long history of animosity, and people have been really impressed with how well they've managed to work so far in this first 2 years of this coalition government. Now we'll have to be looking to see whether those gloves come off. Look, I spoke to David Seymour a short time ago. He told me that Mr. Peters didn't give him any heads up that this was coming, but he also said, hey, look, ACT's really focused on trying to bring in new laws that are going to make New Zealand life better for New Zealanders. He doesn't want to get too caught up in the politics here. But what I don't understand...
It's funny, eh? Never a truer word be spoken that Luxon doesn't want to get caught up in politics. Like, never a truer word be spoken. The man who can't do politics, who's terrible at it, who's got no 1 ounce of leadership in him, doesn't want to have anything to do with politics.
I don't want to get caught up in the politics. That's why I want an office in the beehive.
Yeah. I mean,
What
like,
an idiot.
perfect.
Here, and what I do find quite funny is what lengths New Zealand First went to in the House last week to really praise this bill, given there was really no need for them to do this, and presumably they all knew that they were going to make this move this week to kill it. I guess it goes to show we do need to take what politicians say here at Parliament with a grain of salt.
Grain of salt, bucket of salt, Chewie. Now, I've talked lots during that story. What are your thoughts, bro?
Oh, you can tell that the election's on the way because we're back to big Winnie Styles. And look, I think that this is even so transparently hypocritical that even his own followers aren't going to take it.
Yeah,
like they love saying that he's playing, you can't get anything past Winston. But to see just the hypocrisy and flimflammery of promoting this bill and voting for it, and then the very next week positioning yourself like you're incredibly against it because it's a danger to democracy. Guess what? It was when you voted for it. And just because you're right now doesn't mean that you didn't play your part in putting it into position. This is the sort of shit that New Zealanders hate from politicians.
I have a question for you. did you just arrive from the 1800s? Flimmery? I mean,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Winston might be watching this, and I don't think he'll get my reference to Big Winnie Styles. So yeah, I thought I'd put in something that he would recognise. I could also call him a carpetbagger.
Yes.
That'd be another one that he'd quite like. But look, if there's a silver lining to this, the ferries and this bullshit over the RSB could be Winston Peters' legacy going out. And that would be acceptable to me. Like, this man has run roughshod through the New Zealand political scene for longer than I've been alive, and I'd love him to go out on an absolute turd. And I think at this point, you know, look, I said that Labour should just rule him out. I don't think they should. Now, based on this, I don't think they should rule him out. I think they should rule him out in their heads.
Yeah,
like
but you're not saying
never
that.
going to do-
Yeah, they're not going to work with him, but you're saying they shouldn't publicly give him the out.
No, because it is just gonna make things awkward for him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, like I said at the start, this is just the most cowardly thing. I mean, what it shows, right, is Winston Peters is any means to an end. And if you're any means to an end, you do the worst thing. That basically means you are for sale. So Mr. Baubles of office has just proven again that he would sell his ethics, if he's got any, for the baubles of office. Because the only reason he did this undemocratic, as he identifies it, policy, was to get back into government and to be the deputy prime minister for 18 months. It is the most cowardly, most disgusting thing. It's just repugnant. It's just repugnant. Now, I know people out there are going to be like, Pat, lot worse that happens that every single day of the year. Yeah, but within Parliament, to basically go, we're going to pass this undemocratic bill that I know is undemocratic, that is an attack on democracy, but we're going to pass it anyway. It's just cowardly. But we spoke to that former National Party MP, her name eludes me right now, about in the 80s how they walked across the floor all the time, whether it was for nuclear free or whatever it was. And these guys are just cowards. They're cowards, they're gutless, and they will not stand by. They don't have morals, but if they had them, they refuse to stand by them. It's just revolting. I'm actually disgusted. You know, it's not like I'm offended, or it's not like I'm thinking you're an arsehole. I'm actually disgusted. It's revolting. It's not necessarily corruption, but it's like the corrupt activity of someone who would do anything they can. They'll cheat, they'll steal, they'll lie, as long as they get the win.
Do you know what that is? Why it gets under your skin so much? Because when you're a person that has strong principles, seeing the absence of principles in someone is a really fucking confronting thing. Like, I was watching a clip that's doing the rounds at the moment of Shane Jones, not even 10 years ago, railing against the government of the time's position on doing more mining. And then it was going to ravage the environment. It wasn't even going to be worth it for the economy. All of this sort of thing. With the fire and passion that he has now for strip mining the environment. And that's what I mean. Like, New Zealanders see that when they're disparaging of politicians, this is what they're disparaging of. Someone that doesn't have principles. Someone that is going to flip-flop. And I think there is no more egregious example of that than the leader of New Zealand First and the deputy leader of New Zealand First.
There's a very good chat here from MLB Kiwi. And like, obviously, it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's tongue-in-cheek. When things are tongue-in-cheek with an element of truth, you go, how about this one? We're waiting to see Winnie's crypto coin next.
It'd be a wooden nickel.
All right, we'll get to some chats. We have got time. We'll do that Hannah one as well, obviously. Peter says $1 each way for the Minister of Racing. Andrew says this is a poor man's controlled opposition. Thank you guys for the super chats. Kiwi Bird says if Labour forms a coalition with New Zealand First, I will get in touch with Rocket Lab and move to a different galaxy.
Oh, it'll never happen. I honestly, I just want Labour to not rule it out to make it awkward for Winston, because then his own team will turn on him.
I mean, I know they wouldn't do this, but imagine if Chewie started to play into it. Oh yeah, Winston, he helped Jacinda. He's the reason Jacinda became Prime Minister. So who knows? He's a friend of the left. Of the left.
That's a poison pill for Winnie. But
and
yeah,
a late
they
fee from
absolutely
others.
won't go with him.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. Okay. See, normally I'd have these little things to fill, like Donald Trump falling asleep in the Oval Office, but I'll be honest with you, Fano, I spent a few hours today just kind of messing around, looking at podcast awards and messaging people, and that was my thing. But oh yes, I heard the breathe in. See, I stop when I hear the breathe in. If you ever want me to shut up, just go, and I'll stop immediately. I'm used to it.
It'd be real smooth if you didn't mention it. The next thing that I'm looking forward to from Trump is apparently he has a scheduled meeting with Mamdani, and he's truthed that out by calling him a radical Muslim communist. Is coming to meet him in the office. So
Mamdani will eat him alive. He will eat him alive.
That'd be interesting. I did see one comment that says the best thing that Mamdani could do at that meeting is walk up to those little glue-on gilded Home Depot filigree things and just rip one off the wall and crumble it in his hand. Do it on camera.
If Trump is calling female reporters little piggies, I would just love to see Mamdani get him flustered and see what he calls them. Mamdani will eat him alive. He will just annihilate him. Fantastic. All right. Shall we have a look at the story about Te Pāti Māori? It's interesting actually, because we've been talking a bit about Hannah and where she was standing, and there was rumors that there was some friction between her and Debbie, and there was words spoken actually by Mariamano Kapakingi that Hannah had signed a letter that was quite supportive of the two ousted MPs. And there was rumors that, in fact, I've heard other rumors. Should I say other rumors I've heard? I've heard other rumors that there is a better than average chance that there will be another Māori party, not the Māori party, but a party with Māori only MPs. And I read something from someone who was not necessarily in, but is only one step removed from, that there was quite a bit of talk being talked around the chances of another Māori-led political party, and that Hannah might be going with it. Now, so these are all the rumours that are flying around, yeah? So it's good today that Hannah has finally sort of come out of the shadows and described it in the absolute perfect way, kind of as we described about two of your best mates fighting. She described it as mum and dad getting a divorce. So let's have a listen to what was said today, Hannah in her own words, and we will hopefully know a bit more by the end of it.
Te Pāti Māori's Hannah Rafferty Maipi-Clark says she doesn't know whether to give her rowing colleagues a hug or a hiding. She says she still has confidence in the leadership after two MPs were recently expelled.
That's an interesting statement to start with. I still have confidence in the leadership. So just that is already information we didn't have before.
But believes both sides are in the wrong. And now, as political editor Mikey Sherman reports, she's putting her own political future up for debate.
Rising to political stardom almost overnight, Hannah Rafferty Maipi-Clark became a symbol of hope and resistance for supporters, Time magazine naming her among the 100 most influential people in the world. But as visitors to Parliament today revelled in her presence,
Thank you.
The MP is acutely aware her own people are reeling.
The division of Te Pāti Māori, I've heard both sides. Trust me, I've heard it all. Sometimes I've wanted to give them all a hug and a hiding at the same time, all sides.
The party's infighting led to the expulsion of MPs Maria Mino Kapakingi and Takuta Ferris, a petition for party president John Tamihere to resign, and calls of no confidence in the co-leaders.
My answer to both sides, face to face, has been that you are all in the wrong.
She added no one has taken any ownership, which is why she's speaking out.
Would you like to see Maria Mino and Takuta welcomed back into Te Pāti Māori?
In a perfect world, it almost feels like a divorce between two parents, and sometimes you feel like you want to fight over custody. So yes, I would. And I hope that one day we can get together. But also, I think it's about accepting each other's differences as well if there's two wakas that happen to go forward.
Two waka meaning two parties if the divide cannot be mended.
Do you have confidence in the current Māori Party leadership?
I do have confidence in our leadership.
But she says a flatline authority approach is needed while recognising that each Māori electorate is different.
And allowing different rohe.
That's probably an interesting thing about the difference between perhaps the Māori seats and general seats is that within Māoridom, you know, different iwi, different hapu run different tribes run things slightly differently. So it's not like Labour in New Lynn and Labour in whatever, Epsom, or wouldn't be Epsom, whatever, that they can kind of run it all together because it's the same. It's the same that different iwi, different areas do things differently. So it's never going to be consensus as to how they run things, which is something I hadn't thought of before, but it also adds to this overall conversation, I think.
To have decision-making consensus on that flatline system. So I think it's more of a system issue rather than like a leadership issue.
As for the country's youngest MP, she's called a meeting of her electorate in 2 weeks' time.
Hauraki Waikato will determine my future in politics, whether I'm still the right voice and whether this is still the right waka and movement for them.
Having split from Te Pāti Māori in his time, Hone Harawira doesn't want to see history repeat itself.
I wish her well in the decision she has to make. I sincerely hope that we can bring everybody back together.
There's the people there that can do the mahi, and it's just finding the right way together.
If that's what's happening with Hana, she's doing the right thing by going with her people. She's very articulate in terms of her messages. She's quite staunch in terms of her values.
Values that were on full display today.
Does this mean, Mikey, that Hana Rafiti Maipi-Clark is thinking of quitting Parliament?
Well, the short answer is no. There's no indication that Hana Rafiti Maipi-Clark wants to quit politics. But as she said, that will ultimately be up to those in her electorate. Given the turmoil, she wants to bring her supporters together so they can air their views and set their expectations. Essentially, do they want her to stay on as an MP for Te Pāti Māori? Do they want her to challenge for the party's leadership? Or do they want to see her pull away from the party and perhaps start a new Māori party altogether? Now, today, at 23 years old, Hana Rafiti Maipi-Clark said that she doesn't have all of the answers, but she did show leadership. I've been covering this story for weeks now, if not months, and Māori are really hurting. Māori supporters, Māori voters, they feel let down by the current situation. She has influence, and many people will find comfort in the words that she gave today.
You talked about leadership. What about the current co-leaders? Have they responded?
Well, Debbie Ngarewa-Paka and Rawiri Waititi, they've largely been keeping a low profile. They didn't come to speak to media today, but they did speak to media yesterday. Now, one of the questions they were asked is whether they would head north this weekend to Kaikohe on Sunday to a hui that essentially Ngāpuhi, leaders of the north, Te Tai Tokerau, have set down. They have called Te Pāti Māori up there to talk about the expulsion of their MP, Maria Mino Kapakingi, from the party. Now, the co-leaders said that they haven't decided whether or not they would attend that meeting, but given the mounting pressure day by day, it's something that they won't be able to avoid for much longer.
Kia ora, Mikey.
There you go. So, Chewie, there's the latest story. There are some probably lessons in there that we've all learnt from. A little bit clearer on what's going on, and it appears that what we could probably say about Hana is that she is sitting on the outside of this conflict looking in, because there has been some rim mill stuff. There's been some conjecture that she might have been leaning towards one way or the other, but I guess at the minute, certainly from what she said there, it doesn't sound that way. It sounds like she is definitely Switzerland.
Yeah, I think that's like I was waiting to see what she would have to say about this, and I'm pleased to say she's landed where I'd hoped she would have. Of going, both sides are wrong on this. Like, it really sounds like she's standing in the middle trying to bang heads together of going, come on, guys. And that's how I feel about this. It almost feels like she's the soul of the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I hope that both sides of this fracture sort of reflect on what she said here and pull it together.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, it's still, to me, kind of feels like that old idea of your two best mates are fighting and you've got a party coming up and you know you can't ask them both, and if you pick sides and ask one, what does that do to the other one? And yeah. Now, speaking of Labour going with New Zealand First, JC says, I'll eat my hat. And Waki says with this conversation, oh, sit no pat. Maybe they're supposed to be shit no pat. Last thing we need is to split our vote, make us even less effective. Yeah, I think that's, I think Wahiki, I don't know this, and I'm not going to get too much into predictions, but I think if it doesn't change from right now anyway, it's going to be a split vote. Because at the very least, there'll be people who were elected last time, 2 years ago, as Te Pāti Māori MPs who will now be running as independents. So I think that's the least of the situation. And I've already said a few times, the likely scenario from that is Labour comes up through the middle and takes those Māori seats. Wahiki goes on to say, if you watch TPM split into two parties, Māori will go back to Labour. If TPM splits into two parties, Māori will go back to Labour and to the Greens. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so Wahiki, you're saying that's what you're doing already. You've made that decision. Yeah. This is the thing. It's like we do often talk, and I try never to be sort of like, it's not a game. Politics is not a game, but there is a game to be played within politics. So sometimes when we're thinking about it and talking about it, it's not actually talking about what we want or what we like or what we think is best. It's just what we think will happen. And what's going to happen from this is there's going to be a sector of society that are going to move away from Te Pāti Māori. And where they end up, I don't know. I think if nothing was to change, they'll either go to an independent voice. Let's say Māori Mea Kapakingi runs as independent. They'll go to Labour, or they just won't participate. And I'm not saying none of those are good. I mean, I'm just saying they're the options. You know, obviously the not participating is certainly the worst of that. But that seems to be a likely kind of scenario in this game, the game of politics.
Yeah, they need to repair this.
Yeah, super quick.
Splitting is not going to repair it, and it will be the biggest fumbling of a just monumental amount of momentum. Think about what we were talking this time last year with the Hikoi. All of that direction, support, and power just gone.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope that all parties involved in this can see that for what it is.
Yeah.
Just an enormous waste. There are a lot of people that were energized by the Toitu movement and Te Pāti Māori's involvement in it, that were like, oh, okay, this is where we're going. And if it peters out, it'll be just so disappointing. So I hope they can smack some flex tape on this and just get it resolved before Parliament goes back next year.
Oh, mention of a flex tape. Well done, sir. Well done.
You're welcome.
You want to do? Oh, you can't do chats, can you? I
can't do shit, mate.
Oh man.
StreamYard, what are you doing?
Just tell us a funny story for about 60 seconds. I'm going off mic.
Oh, cool. Just on the spot there. Hey, one of the things that I had mentioned on the Discord, on our Discord, we have a little channel called Chewie's Jukebox where people share music. I shared one just before. I love a good band name, a good silly band name, and I came across one this afternoon called Teen Jesus and the Gene Teasers. And I think that is possibly one of the best band names I've ever heard. Haven't heard the music yet, but it's pretty good.
Okay. I'm going to do something.
It's just been doing a Sudoku or a Wordle or something.
No, I'm trying to show people things without showing necessarily my personal details. So I'll just do that.
Don't dox yourself.
I've just made, well, I won't show you because I've just tested it. I've just made a decision. I want to celebrate all the lovely people who have helped us celebrate with the podcast award win. I'm going to give everyone a bit of a present for the next few days. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to go through some stuff again that I've already done this hour, but I'm adding something to it so you know. So at the moment, we're giving away stickers for free. You order a hoodie, you get 8 stickers. You order a t-shirt, you get 4 stickers, right? We're also giving you the chance to get 2 orders, and the second order is half price. So you get 2 t-shirts, one's full price, one's half price. You get 2 hoodies, one's full price, one's half price. You get a t-shirt and a hoodie. I think the hoodie's full price and the t-shirt's half price. Any order with a hoodie in it, you get 8 stickers. Any order that's just t-shirts, you get 4 stickers. However, as a big thanks to you guys, sticker packs, those 8 packs are worth $32. I think that we sell the 4 packs for like $22.50. As a thanks to you as well, I'm just going to do free shipping, maybe through the weekend. So all of those things apply. And at checkout, if you enter the code AWARDS25, AWARDS 2025, sorry, I'm looking at it right now, AWARDS 2025, you will get free shipping. 2 t-shirts, second one half price, 4 stickers, free shipping. 2 hoodies, second one half price, 8 stickers, free shipping. Hoodie, sticker, t-shirt at half price, 8 stickers, free shipping. So this is not written anywhere. So this is just for you guys right now. I might get it put up here once we get going. But I'll do this through the weekend just to help you guys out and to celebrate a little bit the I think it's the birthday do. The awards, free shipping at checkout if you use the discount code AWARDS 2025. So if you buy 2 t-shirts, that applies the half price automatically, but you will have to enter the discount code AWARDS 2025 for free shipping. And Yoan, if you happen to be watching right now, which you may be, feel free to put that up in the in this blurb up here. Free shipping until, what do you say? Until later notice, until something, until whatever.
Until Pat remembers to turn it off.
Yeah. With the code AWARDS, AWARDS 2025. But it's not going to be left up forever. If you guys want stuff for Christmas or stuff to give to other people for Christmas, which means technically there's no specials on the enamels right now, other than if you get all 6 of them, you get 1 for free. But you will get free shipping. So, yeah. So you got free shipping on stickers, free shipping on t-shirts, free shipping on hoodies, and other bundles you can do to get yourself good deals as well. bhn.nz/shop, AWARDS awards with an S on the end. Yep. 2025 at checkout for free shipping. There you go, Chewie. I'm mad. I'm drunk, obviously. Until further notice. Thanks, Marzipan.
I was just thinking, this is Shane Jones's approach to mining royalties, right?
What, just giving away more of the profits so there's nothing left at the end?
Yeah. Would you like to buy a t-shirt? Oh, I'd love to buy a t-shirt. Okay. You'd love to buy a t-shirt. What if I give you free shipping? Yeah, well, I was going to buy one anyway. No. All right. Okay. Final offer: free stickers.
All right, lovely people. I think that's us for tonight. Because I've been drinking all afternoon, so I need to go to bed early tonight. Celebrating. Thank you so much for all the kind words. Lots of people emailed us as well, Chewie. Email is, I don't know why, but it was really lovely receiving emails, because emails it's one step further that people have to do. They can't just respond to a tweet or put it in the chat. It's like they have to go to their emails, open an email, put the address in, put the subject line, write an email. I guess it's today's letters, you know. I'm not discounting any of the other lovely words sent other ways, but it was nice getting emails. It was just like, hey, congratulations. So thank you for all those emails, and for the comments on Blue Sky, and for the comments on Twitter, and for the comments in the chat, and for the comments on Patreon. Heaps of comments on Patreon. They're all over the place. And yeah, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for enabling us to do what we do, whether you're a watcher or a lurker or a financial supporter, or you're a purchaser of merch, or you share our content, or you just love us. Thank you for loving us. I'm going to start to cry. Thank you for loving us. There you go, Chewie. You are now a multiple times award-winning podcaster.
What is this? Three times in a row?
Yeah, and it's the first gold. Were you aware of that? I think we did bronze 2 years ago, silver last year, and gold this year. So we've got
we completed the trifecta.
Completed the set. So that means we get to retire now. We never enter the awards again. So, or so they say. Nala's been very excited about it today, as you can see. Her head fell off. Hey, buddy, you can stay there. I just wanted to say hello. You all right? You want to lie down again? You can lie down. Go on, lie down.
Ooh. Powering down.
Powering down. All right. Yeah, I got nothing else. You got anything else, Chewie?
No, it's not nice time.
Thank you to the patrons that signed up tonight. I think there was 2 or 3 people who signed up to the Patreon. And remember, we've got that big event happening in Dunedin on Friday night, the 5th of December. If you want to be here, love to see you. Put it aside if you're in Dunedin. Love to see you too. I don't know, just talking now. I've lost my words. I've run out of words, Chewie. I've run out of words. It's time to go. Oh, that's not playing.
So it's playing. Where's the music?
I've got it on mute.
People like the music, Pat. You should have the music on.
They do, thanks to Brendan. There we go.
There we go.
Help us settle it to be, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All heavily either this way or that, and we'll be analyzed by both Chewie and Pat, with the evil in the world trying to...
When you were a kid, Chewie, did you guys used to call people winners as a mocking thing? You winner. Did you ever do that? Or was that my generation?
No, I don't recall that being.
You
call
winner.
people an egg. Try hard.
Winner. I just realised as well, it's Thursday, isn't it? So we'll see you Monday night for another edition of Big Hairy News. That's it for us. We're done for the week. Nothing else to add. Nala looking at you like, if you don't want anything, why did you wake me up? All right, lovely people. We will see you on Monday. Emily and Magenta in tomorrow night from 9 for the next big edition of the award-winning Big Hairy News.
Big Hairy News.
Hooroo.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. Remember that as well. Oh, you spanner. Remember that one, Chewie? Oh, you spanner.
Spanners Watson, the famous South Island mechanic. Spanners Watson.